Hey guys, how's everyone doing today? So today's video is one I've filmed 3 times now, and for some reason it just gave me such a hard time. Like, I couldn't upload it. Then my phone didn't store it. So anyway, I don't want to make this a big long thing. So yeah, that's why this video is going up today as opposed to Monday when I wanted it to go up. One thing I do want to mention before I get into this is something I saw yesterday on a Wayne Goss video. And his video was titled, Stupid Things Influencers Say. Sorry, I have my paper right here. And I really went to look into the comments because he did ask for feedback. And because I don't have, I love the comments I get, but there's not a lot of people watching me, so I don't get a lot of the constructive criticism when it comes to certain things. Or somebody saying what's offensive to them. And if you guys have anything that's offensive to you guys that you just want to let me know, please feel free to say something in the comments about it, because I didn't think of this as offensive. And the woman that had commented, I don't want to say her name because it's not really my job to say her name in any way. If she wants to talk about it, she can feel free to come on here and comment. But the comment that she had given was, when we say a look is wearable. Now, it's said not meaning to be offensive, but she said it offends her, and I totally understand, and I never thought of it, ever. Like, for me to come on here and do, like, a blue eyeshadow look and say this isn't everyday wearable, for that person out there that wears that look all the time, like, it's offensive to them, because then they're like, you know, what I do is not wearable? Like, I never, ever thought of it that way, and I want to apologize just in case I did say that, because I'm sure I probably have, just to explain that it's not an everyday thing for me personally. But I did want to come on here and say that real quick. So now that I've said all this and I've gone way off topic to what this video is, I'm going to get into it. It is the continuation of my top 5 favorite products. So I'm going to start with drugstore and then go to high end, and I'm going to be working with concealers and setting powders. So I did have a hard time with the high end, but I'll get to that when I get to the high end. So for concealers, my first favorite is the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. That's right here. I had a hard time with the color match, so this is pretty light. But I do like this, but it is a little bit drying. So somebody who's my age might not be able to use this alone, or if you use it very sparingly, it works perfect. I really do love the way it looks under my eyes and brightens underneath my eyes, and it does conceal the bags that I have under my eyes. So that's number 1. Number 2 is the Revlon Candid. Now, a lot of people did not like this concealer, and they say because it creases. Well, as we age, we all get creases. My face, as opposed to a 19-year-old girl's face, is going to be totally different, obviously. Now, I have, the crow's feet. I have creasing underneath my eyes. I have smile lines. I have smoker's mouth, they call it, to where it looks like I'm starting to get wrinkles, like right in here, because I am a smoker. I am trying to quit right now. I just got my patches and my Chantix, but that's off topic anyway. But yeah, so my face is going to be totally different to hers. And to somebody who has acne and acne scarring and discoloration spots, which I do have sunspots over here, but something that's full coverage for me may not be full coverage for them. So I want you all to take this into consideration when I say things like this is full coverage, this is, medium coverage, this is sheer coverage. It may not be that for other people. But with this concealer, of course it's going to crease on me. That was my point. And it's because I'm aging. I'm going to be 36 in June. So I do like this concealer. I think it's an amazing concealer. It has antioxidants and all sorts of good for you stuff in it. I don't go too much into ingredients because I don't know, and I'm not going to say something I don't know. But I do love this concealer, and that's why it's in my favorites. My third one for concealer is the NYX Professional Makeup HD Studio Photogenic Concealer. Very, very long name. Here's what the bottle looks like right there. Now, this is gone, basically. Like, I've used this whole thing, and I can barely get enough out to even show you why I like this. But for someone who doesn't like to wear a lot of makeup, which I do like to wear a lot of makeup, but not all the time. So if I just want to throw something under my eyes to conceal the bags I have underneath my eyes, I'll use something like this. And This is a very, very thin, I can barely get any out to show you. This is a very, very thin consistency concealer. You can see it right here. And just to put that on underneath my eyes and just tap it out with my finger, it does cover what I want it to cover, but doesn't make me look like a cakey mess. You know what I mean? For not wearing any other makeup. So that's why that's in my favorites. My next favorite is the Maybelline Age Rewind. Right here, you can see I've used it all the way down to the bottom, right here. I love this concealer, and I've heard a lot of people say it's full coverage, and for me personally, this is very full coverage, so I only need a little bit, and I like that it has added ingredients to help with moisturizing and the anti-aging effects it has in it, but yeah, it's a great concealer. It's full coverage. I mean, a little bit goes a very long way, which I'll show you in the back of my hand again. So I'm just what's on my sponge right there, and I have a lot of veins in the back on the back of my hands here. I'm sure you can see them all through here, and I mean this will cover all this, but you can shear it out to be not as full coverage, which I like also, or you can put a whole bunch under there and make it full coverage, and you know, that's it. But it does the job, and it's a great concealer, and it doesn't make me so dry and crepey looking, but there you go, see. But it is a more mattifying concealer, so that's something to take into consideration when using that. Now, my very favorite concealer, which I'm going to try to do this for every one of my topics, if I have a favorite for that topic. This is my favorite dollar store concealer, and honestly, it's one of my favorites through all the topics of concealer here, high-end, drugstore, dollar store. I really love this concealer, and it's the one I'm wearing today. And this is the Broadway Concealer Cream Camouflage Concealer. It's in the shade Light Beige, which is a little bit darker than most of my concealers, but it's probably the one that matches me the best. And I'm going to get closer so you can see what it does, because this is literally like $2, and it's one of my favorite concealers. See? Now, obviously, I have creasing. You can see my creases right there. That's because I'm wrinkling. I'm getting older. But you can see the coverage it has was really good. It did brighten me up a little bit, and it don't look cakey and crepey. So that's why this is one of my favorites. Actually, that's why this is one of my very favorites. Sorry if you hear my chair squeaking. It's very loud. It's just like a breakfast nook stool, so that's what you're hearing. All right. So that is it for my drugstore concealers. Now, when it comes to high-end concealers, I don't have 5 that I like. There's not 5 high-end concealers that I've bought that I don't regret buying. So, that's that. I'm going to give you the little bit of concealers I have. I have 3 of them. And that's all I have for high-end. So, this one here, the first one I'm going to show you, it's not in the right packaging because these are samples I've received from It Cosmetics, and this is the Bye Bye Under Eyes, which is a very full coverage concealer. This is an old eyeshadow pan I had that was empty. You can see the concealer in there. It's still pretty full around the edges, and a little bit goes such a long way. You don't need the full version of this. Samples will definitely get you through a long time. I've had this for almost a year now, and I don't know what the expiration was on it. I really didn't pay attention to it because I was just so excited to have it because it was a higher end. When I was into the whole FOMO, you know, fear of missing out on getting this product or that product, and I don't have that anymore. I went and spent so much money, and it's so unnecessary. I could have done so much more with it. But anyway, this is my number 1. It's great for people like me who are getting more lines and wrinkles and everything because it doesn't cake up around it, and you can work with it. It has playtime to where if it creases, you can still fix it out. And, well, when it creases, you can still, you know, fix it out, tap it out with my finger, you know, whatever I have to do to make it work. It is a great concealer. Alright, so now my number 2 favorite concealer is the Jouer Essentials High Coverage Liquid Concealer, which this is the bottle right here. This is a huge concealer. You get a lot of product, it seems like. Now, well, maybe not. It looks like there's a lot of product, but when you look at the bottom, you can see where this black thing is, that says the shade on it, that's the core of it, and that's what's full. So it's definitely not as much as it looks like. I just now realized that, and that kind of makes me aggravated. But anyway, this is a really good concealer. It says it's soft matte and creaseless, which it's creaseless on a 19-year-old, like I said. But anyway, when you use this, you do have time to work with it and, you know, tap it out with your finger if you, when your eyes crease and everything else, if you have creasing. It doesn't stay, sorry, I feel like I have hair on my face. My cat was just up here. But yeah, this is a very good concealer. It has almost the same consistency as the It Cosmetics, but this one does have the soft matte, the dry down is soft matte. So take that into consideration when using, but this is one of my favorites. My last high-end concealer that is a favorite is the Nars Creamy Radiant Concealer. And I like this concealer. I don't see why it's so high priced because it's almost the same as a lot of my drugstores. It again has that creamy consistency that I like, that you have more time to work out the kinks and creases and whatever else, and it looks good on my skin. So that is the end of my high-end concealer. Now, moving on to setting powders. Again, I don't have 5 favorite high-end setting powders. I have 4. And they're only my favorites because they're the only ones I can use that don't make me look horribly aged and gross. So I'm going to go on to my drugstore first because I have so many favorites in the drugstore. I probably could have went above 5. My very first drugstore favorite loose setting powder is the Maybelline Fit Me, right here. This is the loose one. I have it in the shade Fair Light 10, and this powder looks great on my skin. I can put just a little bit underneath my eyes. It doesn't get dry and crepey or anything like that. It sets my foundation, holds it all day, and I don't have any issues with it. So that's my number 1. My number 2 setting powder will be the Maybelline Fit Me Pressed Powder. Now, I'm sure these are almost the same powders, but I get this one in the shade Buff Beige because I'll set the rest of my face with this, which I did today. And there it is right there, if you can see it. And I just use this very lightly. I'll take a big brush, like this one here, from Soap and Glory. I'll tap it in, and I'll just tap it over my face like this, so that way I'm not getting too much powder, and it's not going to cake up my face. So there's that one. My next favorite drugstore powder is the Joa Selfie Ready Setting Powder right here. It's in the shade Banana. There we go. That's the lid. That's the packaging. And this one actually, I mean, it was like 10 bucks. So it's a little bit pricey for me, but it's around the same price as most of these powders are. And you can see right there, it does have, see if I can get it to show. Maybe, maybe not. There you go. So it does have a little bit of a yellow tint to it. It has the same packaging as most high-end powders, so I don't understand why they're so expensive and this one isn't. But this is a really good setting powder. I will say that I have to use this very sparingly because this will dry down on my face, like dry it out underneath my eyes. So, you know, I take that into consideration, but I do love the way it looks when I'm finished. Now, my next powder is the Rimmel Match Perfection Silky Loose Face Powder. This is probably one of my absolute favorites. Now, obviously, like, if you look at the thing, it's like gone. I just used almost the rest of it today. I have a little bit more left in there. Down at the edge, that's it. And this powder has a little bit of a pinky undertone, but this powder never makes me look cakey. I'm wearing this today. I think it was $4.95 at Walmart. Most of Rimmel's products are under $5. So this is definitely one of my all-time favorite setting powders. Now, last but not least is the Cody Airspun. Now, this is a huge container. I've had this for at least 10 months, and I'm not even halfway through it. Now, this one, if you do overuse, now I don't bake. When I bake, I look like the Crypt Keeper. It's not worth me doing. But I will set my face with this very lightly, just like I showed you with the other powder with my brush. Just tap a little bit on lightly, and that's it. Or I'll take my sponge, dip it in there, and, you know, tap the excess off on the back of my hand and put a little tiny bit, like, use it very sparingly under my eyes. But, you know, a little bit goes a long way. So that's why that's in my list. Alright, so now on to my high-end powders. Now, I'm sorry I didn't have 5. I do have 4. And, you know, I had to struggle with these because I had to see which ones I liked, for what reason, and what they did for me. So my number 1 on the high-end side is the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter setting powder. And this is in the shade Butter. Now, I love the smell of this. The smell of this is so nice, and it doesn't like, it's not overkill to where somebody who's sensitive to smells would be like, oh, I can't use that. But it has a very nice smell. Now, when I use this under my eyes to set and in my smile lines and everything, this definitely does make a difference on the dryness and the creasing. But if I use too much, again, it will do the same thing as all powders will do. It will make you look like the Crypt Keeper. But this is my very favorite under eye setting powder right now when it comes to high end. And this is the only one I did not struggle with to figure out why I liked it and if I liked it. Because I have to sit here and go through all of my makeup just to make sure that I'm being 100% honest and I'm not leaving anything out, and that I know that I like these products. And I can't just use them for a week or two and say, hey, this is a good product. It's not going to happen. I personally like to use things for quite a while, especially skincare and, you know, powders, concealers, foundations. I like to use them for a couple months because I like to make sure I'm not going to break out. It's not going to affect my face in a negative way. And that I actually truly do like these products. So, this one, as of right now, I do like it. I have had this for almost 2 months now. And I've used it quite a few times. You can see I'm missing like half the sample. And I really do like it. My next favorite is the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder, the original. I barely have anything in here, if I do have anything. This is an amazing setting powder. I don't have to worry about looking like the Crypt Keeper with it. I could bake if I wanted to, but I don't like doing it. So, not for my age group. For somebody who's 19, be my guest. But for me, it's just not in, I can't do it. So, this is an amazing powder. It's so finely milled and it looks beautiful on my skin. It does not dry me out to where at the end of the day I have like blotches of missing foundation because it cracked off. This is a very good setting powder. Now, my next setting powder is one I use only under my eyes, and this is the Becca Hydra Mist. Yeah, the Becca Hydra Mist setting powder right here. And it does have the coolest sensation when you touch it underneath your eyes with the brush. It really does feel like you're touching your face with a wet brush. This does set underneath my eyes very well, but again, I can look like the Crypt Keeper if I use too much, so I always have to use it sparingly. But this is a very good setting powder. I do like it. I like that it doesn't change the color of my concealer, and it's really one of my favorites. My last setting powder, because like I said, I don't have 5, is the Hourglass Translucent Veil setting powder. Now, with this, I cannot use it under my eyes. I don't like the look. I think it makes me look older, and I look like I have little sparkles under my eyes, and it doesn't do that anywhere else on my face but under my eyes. So I cannot use this under my eyes. But I will dust it across my face to keep a natural glow to my face. Like today, I don't have any highlighter on except for underneath my brow. I have a little tiny bit, and in the inner corner of my eye. But for my face, that's not a highlighter. That's just a natural glow I kept to my foundation because I use this with it. And it just keeps everything nice. Like my face doesn't feel dry. It doesn't feel sticky, but it doesn't feel dry. But my skin looks nice. It looks healthy. It doesn't look caked up. It doesn't look gross. It don't look dry. And I think this has a lot to do with it. But I also used a good settings, a good primer, and really took my time on my makeup today. So that is the end of all of my powders and my concealers from high-end to drugstore. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sorry I babbled on a little bit about something that bothered me. I just wanted to really get that out there to you guys to let me know that if there's something I say that I'm not realizing when I say it, that it could be offensive to you, please be like, yo, don't say that. Like, that really bothers me. Because I don't want to come on here and offend people. Like, that's the last thing on my mind. Like, I don't get paid to come on here and do this. I do this because I like to tell people about good products. I do this because I like to help somebody. If maybe a technique I have will show something that somebody needed to see, like, that's what I want to do. And nothing can sway my opinion. There is no reason to sway my opinion, but nothing could anyway. And yeah, so that's it. That's it for my video. I hope you guys are all having an absolutely wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.